In part 1, we showed you how to make the vegetable bolognese. So if you missed that, go back and click part 1 and check that out. And now, on with the assembly. We will be using Nona Higgins' lasagna pan, which I inherited from her. This is an 11 by 15 size pan. It is very big. If you're gonna assemble something and work hard enough to put together a lasagna, you might as well make a big batch. If you wanna make a smaller batch, you can cut the recipe I'm giving you in half and you can make that in a 7 by 11 pan. I love lasagna with fresh noodles. My family prefers them with dried noodles. Sometimes I make them for, well, that's true. Don't grimace to me. When I have made fresh lasagna, you and the kids definitely prefer it this way. And you're grimacing behind the camera. Is that not true?
I don't think so. Whatever.
Okay, well, clearly there's a conflict here on our memory about lasagna. Nick's mom was a really, really great cook. And I used to ask her for recipes whenever she made anything really good. And every time I made them, they were never as good as hers. And I could not figure out why. And then after she passed away, I was looking through her cookbooks and I saw a recipe that I had made. And I was looking, I was like, wait a minute. There was an ingredient there that was not in the version that she gave me. And then I was like, well, maybe that's a mistake. And I looked through the rest of the cookbook and in pretty much all the recipes she gave me, there was an ingredient missing. There was no way her son was gonna think that his wife's cooking was as good as his mother's cooking. That was just the way it was gonna be.
You gonna do the same thing?
I don't know, man. You can say whatever you want to say about what you're gonna do, and when you get there, you find there's a whole world you hadn't anticipated.
The waves are cranking, it's time to chop. Let the gnarly waves run their course.
Actually, you know one thing that really bugs me about recipes is when the recipe writer says a bunch of parsley or 1 garlic clove. I don't know if your garlic clove is as big as my garlic clove. I don't know if your bunch of parsley is the same size as my bunch of parsley. Look at these. These are a perfect example. That's a garlic clove, right? This is also a garlic clove. That's not my small garlic clove I was going to use as an example, is it? They're not different in size, are they?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it worthy? Remember, you know that feeling when you do something on set and you're like, that was awesome, and then you see it and it's like not that good, and then that thing that you thought was really stupid, you're like, oh my god, thank god we shot that, because that's brilliant.
That's not
That could be what's happening right now. You don't know.
Yeah, I do.
You don't know.
Okay, go.
That's a garlic clove. That's also a garlic clove. That's not the same garlic clove. Give me teaspoons. Give me grams. Give me something I can hold on to. This is a lemon thyme. Oh my god, it smells so good. And then I also have a little French thyme over here. I'm gonna grab a little bit of both. So there's our thyme. This is last year's parsley, and it clearly is like, it doesn't care anymore. It's just given up. I have new parsley planted for the summer, but it's not in yet. So tragically, we have no parsley for this lasagna. And that means I'm just not putting parsley in my lasagna. But you should. Hey, look, it's the neighborhood cat. Hi, neighborhood cat. Nick calls this cat FTC, which stands for fuck that cat, because he hates cats because he's allergic to cats. I am going to be an old lady with cats, though. I mean, I don't really want you to die, but if you die, my consolation is the first thing I'm going to do is go out and get 20 cats and live with a house of cats. Bye, kitty. I have a pittance of parsley, which I am going to take. And it's not much, but I'm going to use it. Every once in a while, you just don't have something. Is parsley going to make or break my lasagna? No. See, perfect example. If this was my bunch of parsley, that would probably not be the same as somebody else's bunch of parsley, but this is the bunch of parsley I've got. We're starting off with 3 cups of ricotta. We're adding 1.5 cups of heavy cream. I'm gonna start with a teaspoon and a half of minced garlic. I'm gonna taste this at the end and see if I want a little bit more, but let's start conservatively and then see where we get to. This is a tablespoon of thyme. I only have a tablespoon of parsley here, but you will have 3 tablespoons is what it calls for. We all know about my parsley debacle today. And then I'm gonna add a teaspoon of salt and a lot of cracked pepper. get that nice and mixed up, and then we're gonna taste it for seasoning. I'm gonna put a tiny bit more garlic and a tiny bit more salt. You want the garlic to taste a little sharp because it's gonna mellow when you cook the lasagna, and a lot more pepper. Now we're there. In addition to our Bolognese and our ricotta, we also have 3 ounces of grated Parmesan, that's about 1.5 cups, and we have 14 ounces, a little shy of a pound, of grated mozzarella. We'll also be doing salt and pepper on our layers as we go. To get started, I want to pick out a good layer of noodles for the bottom and a good layer for the top. It is inevitable that some of your noodles are going to tear when they're boiling, so I'm going to pick out all the perfect ones, and I'm sorry to you other noodles, I don't want to noodle shame you, but the perfect ones for the bottom and the top help the structure and the presentation. And I need 5 noodles for each layer, so I'm going to pick out 10 noodles to start and set those aside. Those are my perfect beauties. Our first layer is going to be just a little bit of sauce so that the noodles don't burn on the bottom. We don't want to use much here, and I have about 5 cups of sauce here. So we'll start with maybe 1/2 cup of sauce. We're just gonna put that at the bottom, and we're gonna smear that around just to give ourselves a little bit of protection. First layer of noodles. Most lasagna pans go a little bit like this on the sides, so they're getting wider as you go up. The bottom layer, you might have a little bit of overlap of noodles. Try not to overlap your noodles too much, but on the bottom it might be inevitable because as you get further up, you need something wider. For our last noodle at the end, we're gonna need to cut this piece. Our next layer is the first ricotta layer. We're gonna do about 1.5 cups of ricotta on this first layer. I'll just smooth that out. So when we put our bottom layer down, this pan is longer than our layers are, so that end piece went on this side. Next layer, you want to switch that over so that you don't have one weak side on your lasagna. So this time I'm going to start all my lasagna noodles on the other end. And we are doing 6 layers of lasagna total. I'm pretty sure Maria never made less than a 6-layer lasagna in her life. I think there's got to be a secret pact that all Italians must make 6-layered lasagnas. We're putting 1.5 cups of Bolognese on this next layer. We're going to sprinkle our Parmesan onto that, and then we'll do some salt, some pepper, and we're going to sprinkle a little bit of salt. Our next 2 layers are rinse and repeat. I'm gonna do another layer of pasta with the ricotta mixture on top, and then another layer of pasta with Bolognese, the Parmesan, and some salt and pepper. Okay, so those are our next 2 layers. Now, that's 4 layers. On my 5th layer, I'm gonna mix my Bolognese and my ricotta mixture and start to add in some the mozzarella.
The waves are cranking, it's time to charge. Let the gnarly waves run their course.
Hang on for just a moment. I'm gonna go get another cup of sauce. I will amend to say you need 7 cups of sauce to be on the safe side. You definitely want a good amount of sauce on the top of the lasagna.
Let the gnarly waves run their course.
And that's just 6 layers of gorgeousness. I'm gonna cover this with some tin foil that has been oiled on the side that's touching the lasagna. Can't tell you how many times I've made a lasagna, taken off the foil, and the entire layer of cheese went with it. Don't forget to oil your tin foil. We'll put that on top, we'll bake it covered. We'll take off the tin foil and we'll bake it uncovered till it's really bubbly and molten, which is what we're looking for. It's always a good idea to put your lasagna on a baking pan so that if any of that molten cheese and sauce bubbles up over your pan, you don't have it dripping down onto the bottom of your oven and smoking up. So, all right, get baking.
Short board, long board, fish board, fuck. The waves are cranking, it's time to charge. Let the gnarly waves run their course.
Congratulations, you've made it to the end of this video, and statistics suggest very few people do that. So if you did, won't you subscribe to our channel? Won't you share what we're doing here? Like, comment, let me know if there's something you'd like me to make in the future. Get the word out. Do a girl a favor.
Run their